Alrighty, welcome to episode 1 of Clash of Clubs. I'm Dylan Altman. I'm alongside Grant and Mila, and today we're going to go through our Premier League predictions along with a little bit of Community Shield review, and then finally wrapping it up with some transfer rumors and transfer talk. But with that being said, Mila, do you want to kind of take it away with what you thought of the Community Shield? I know it was a friendly, but it always matters when it's a derby, right?
Yeah. With the Community Shield, I really just didn't want to lose another one after losing three in a row. I've talked to you guys both about it, but four in a row would have beat the three in a row record that United and City both hold for it, so that would have bummed me out if we hit that. But I thought both teams played well. I definitely thought there were some standout players in Bob and Bruno, especially. Diallo, and I think Rico Lewis was the other standout player for me. How do you feel about that?
I think you kind of summarized it well. I thought, for United, it was a good tune up to kind of get people excited again. Obviously, this was probably the best game we played against City, including the FA Cup, which is kind of weird in terms of like actually holding possession and having a style of play and not just completely working on the counter. I thought you brought up like all the guys that made sense in my head. Bob was a clear standout. Thought he was the person closest to getting a goal himself outside of like Diallo. It's just funny. Both right wingers kind of stole the show. And then ultimately, I thought that the best player on the pitch for both teams, like the entirety of the game, was Bruno. I thought that he was exceptional. So, not really much more to talk about other than the fact that it's kind of just a friendly and not a real trophy. So, I don't know if Grant, you have anything to say
Yeah,
about that. I know you got to watch it a little bit, but
I was just I don't know, my big thing, like anytime there's a game that I'm kind of looking forward to watching, obviously it's our first game back, so kind of exciting. First thing you're ready for is like the lineups. Like, oh, let's see what we're setting up like. Sure, Mila too, like with so many guys coming back late, you kind of have an idea, but it's like who are we getting chances? Like I see O'Reilly, McAtee getting good minutes. But United setup, and again I understand their situation too with not all their players being there, but that was confusing. First seeing the lineups, but I know Ten Hag's had to dig pretty deep, especially last year. So I'm kind of interested to see how that all plays out, like how Hoyland's going to get used, how Xerxes going to get used. I'm intrigued. You all know how I feel about number 7, but I don't think he's going to get much tick there. I'm kind of intrigued to see can that work because it looked good. I was surprised with how good they looked. They were consistently good moves. So I'm intrigued to see how United look. We'll get into that later. But yeah, I thought both teams played well.
yeah, I don't disagree. I thought it was definitely a good tune-up game, good opening curtain call for the Premier League, which obviously starts this weekend. I guess with that, let's just move into our thoughts for the Premier League predictions for the season, where we see our the players ranking up and the teams ranking up this year. The way this segment's going to work is we're going to kind of run through our thoughts for pretty much each segment of the table, and then together we'll kind of combine our thoughts and put it into one Clash of Clubs Premier League prediction ranking. So, with that, I think Grant, you can start us off with who you think is in that relegation battle.
So Ipswich, like I like it, like I'm excited to see that, but I do have them last. It's just the safest one. Again, with predictions, we have no idea. So much can happen. We still got a few weeks left in the transfer window, but I got Ipswich in 20th, Southampton I got 19th, and then 18th. I didn't pick all three teams going back down. I think last year was pretty brutal in that front, but I have Forest. Forest have been horrible both years, and like first time they came up, they just bought like 15, 20 players. I remember Lingard going there. It was like, oh, okay, 17, 16, cool. Steve Cooper's gone. They bring in Nuno, and they were also really bad last year. Points wise, I mean, they barely escaped. They mathematically finished. Match week 38 was when they finally secured safety, and they were on like 30 points. Like I don't remember exactly, but they were pretty low. So I got Forest going down.
All right, what do you think, Mila? What do you think about the
You want me to go,
relegation
Dylan?
battle? You got similar thoughts?
Yeah.
I have very similar thoughts. Basically, it's a toss-up for the three in the order, but for my relegation teams, I have Leicester in 20th. No manager, just coming back from the championship. I'm not thinking too much into it. Southampton coming from the championship, not a great defense last year from what I've been hearing, and I don't think their players have anything that's going to put them into a higher space on the table. And then Ipswich at 18, just because I've heard good things about them and that they're a little bit different from the other teams that have been coming up in the past couple years.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of gonna regurgitate a little bit of all what you guys are saying. I've got Leicester in last. Obviously, they're gonna get hit with the point deduction anyways, so at least that's looming over their head. And even if that wasn't the case, I don't know where the goals are coming from. Vardy is old, and it's just not gonna work anymore. I want to hope that it does. I just don't see it happening. And then I've actually got Ipswich in 19th. Feels very Burnley-esque to me, where the talent is there, and it's very, like, for a championship side, it's very talented and great coach. But when you get up against the teams in the Prem, they're just no match. And then I've got Southampton for kind of similar reasons. They've got some talented guys. I just don't think that it's going to get them over the hump, if, so to say.
Okay.
So I guess we're
so we
all
both
kind
got
of...
Southampton and Ipswich. I feel like we got to throw Leicester in for the sake of for where we're all at, but I'm surprised you guys have them both last. I know the points deduction, like, totally valid. Steve Cooper also didn't show us much with Forest, right? Like, I don't know. I mean, I like they got Buonanotte from Brighton. He's there. I know they were linked with Zaha. Like, I don't think they're going to finish dead last. Like, I feel like they're a bit too ambitious. Like, they still have some of the players that were like Ndidi still there. Like, I don't think that team's 20th bad, but I wouldn't be shocked to see them get relegated.
It's one of those things with the point deduction for me where, like, are they going to care after that? Like, there's the sides like Everton where they're already up, and going down would ultimately be like the end of their club. Like, Leicester's already had this happen. They just kind of keep flopping and gaining money. I don't know. I see them as the team that just finishes last because I don't know where the goals are coming from. That's that we don't know yet, but it's going to be big, probably 10 plus points. Would be my guess.
I've heard it's not good. Like, I was seeing that a lot last year too. I don't know too much about it, but I don't think it's looking great for them. We'll get some more transfer bans later.
Yeah. So
that's relegation. What we want to do: Southampton, Ipswich, Leicester. Not in that order, but
I don't really care the order of it. I think those are the three teams that are going down. I do like the notch out.
Yeah.
I just think that there's holes in the team with some of the guys that they got. Chris Wood was pretty good last year. They got him back.
Yeah.
There's goals. They'll win games.
I couldn't believe that. Yeah.
Just to scrape by. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Hudson-Odoi.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you want to pull that up, Mila? The Alenga. Combined table.
Yeah.
Alenga is there. He's talented.
Yeah, they got a pretty decent team. Yeah, they got Gibbs White's pretty good. I can't believe we haven't heard anything about him going anywhere.
Not getting a transfer. I totally thought that was going to be the case too.
Yeah, but he can play. He can play.
He's one of those guys where a January move would make a lot of sense for teams that are looking for somebody that can be a workhorse engine.
Yeah, I like that. But all right, yeah, I just feel like they've been playing with their fate a bit too much. They've been cutting it too close. So that's where I went with that. So we got 13 through 17 now, kind of that.
Yeah, start from
relegation battle to kind of safe. Okay, so 13th I put Everton. I just think Deitch has sort of a thing going on there to where, like, regardless of the ins and outs, like Beto wasn't great, whatever, like, he'll figure it out. Like, I kind of trust him with that. I feel like he proved it again last year, like that point seduction I got hit with, and then within like 4 or 5 games, they're already back out of the relegation zone. So I think they'll be good there. Wolves, I got 14th. I think Gary O'Neill actually did a really good job last year. He had like no preseason there. A lot of people were saying they might get relegated. They were very safe. They were a good side. But obviously they lost Neto. I don't know. I just feel like I got them there 14th. 15th, I got Brighton. I think they're going to drop off pretty badly relative to where they were at. Obviously, they're bringing in a new coach. He's 31. That's pretty crazy. I've heard he's a good up-and-coming coach, but we've seen that story. It doesn't always work. They've got a good technical staff, all that stuff. I just think, you're going to see a lot of regression. I know players are coming back, and we can have those conversations. I just don't have a great feeling with them. 16th, Leicester. Again, I know we kind of talked about it a little bit, but I think they're still pretty ambitious. We'll see what happens there. But I got them 16th, and then Brentford I have 17th. I don't think they go down, but I don't know the whole Tony situation. I just feel like there's a lot up in the air at Brentford right now. So I got them at 17th, but I definitely think they're safe. I don't think it'll be too tight. Yeah. What are you guys thinking?
Yeah. Those
Dylan,
are all.
why don't you go first?
Yeah, those are all valid. I don't think I necessarily disagree. I think there's a lot of overlap again between ours. I've got Bournemouth in 13th. I thought they looked actually pretty good last year, and I think that the amount of parity throughout the league has just gotten so good because of the TV money that like I would put them higher, but like the teams that are above them are a clear tier above them in terms of the overall talent. So I've got Bournemouth in 13th. Going next, I got Fulham in 14th. Obviously, they have a Polina-sized hole currently in their team, and it's super dependent on them bringing in someone else in the midfield to really make things tick. But they brought in Smith Rowe, and he looks like a real talent. It sounds like they might be getting Scott McTominay, and he can provide goals out of the midfield. And they've got things there. They've got a really talented coach, and they have a new upcoming striker that can really do some damage. So I just don't see them, again, similar to Bournemouth, where they can get over that hump. But I think that they're good enough to be a Prem team for the upcoming seasons. In 15th, I've got Wolves, similar to Grant, where I think that the people they've lost this season are the reason that they're not moving up. Obviously, losing Neto to Chelsea is... I know he's an injury-prone player, but he's a spark plug when he does play, and that was a big reason why they got kind of through those middle to early months of the season was through Neto, and he was incredible up until his injuries. So that's why I've got him in 15th. 16th, I've got Notts Forest for the reasons that we were saying in the last segment. They've got Chris Wood. There's goals in the team. I think they're good enough to stay up, but it's gonna. I think really 16th through 20th is going to be a scrape all year to really see who's going down and up. And then 17th, I've got Brentford. I think that Tony leaves at some point, and then I'm just not sure there's enough talent in their team to really make them safe anywhere through that entire process.
Yeah, they struggled for a bit at the end of the season. They didn't have that same juice.
Even with Tony, and that he looked really poor, but he's coming off a decent Euros as a sub, so we'll see.
Yeah.
What do you got, Mila?
Yeah.
I got a lot that isn't. At 13, I have Brentford.
Oh.
Mainly because everything below that, I think either one, I don't rate Knots at all. So I just have them at 17. But below Brentford and the other teams I've mentioned, I think all of them lost a key player in their team. So when it comes down to it, they're just not going to be able to keep up. And so with 13th at Brentford, I have Wolves at 14. Obviously losing Neto was a big one, and I think that'll be shown through this season. Similarly, Everton just lost a big player, and also they have another possible point deduction coming up this year.
Uh-huh.
So that dropped them down a little bit more. Bournemouth losing Solanke, I don't know if they're going to be able to replace that this season. So we're just going to have to see, and I'm not convinced so far. And yeah, Knots at 17 is basically where I wrap that up.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
For consensus-wise,
I think it's easier for us to work 17 down to 13. I think me and Grant both had.
And I
We
think
both had Brentford at 17.
Brentford. We had Brentford, but Mila got them at 13.
I have
You got a little bit of
13.
faith in them. You got some faith in them. Okay.
For the same reason you have Bournemouth below,
16th,
do you think that like Tony not being there, if he is to leave either before the end of this window or in January, kind of knocks their chances
Might
of
be a factor. Wait, we should. Why don't we just put Forest? Why don't we just put Forest?
I
Forest
think
is a good
Forest
17th.
17, yeah.
17th is fair. I got him 18th.
Yeah, Forest works
That's
for me
true.
at
Well,
17.
where'd you have him? I forgot. Where'd you have him?
Dylan had it 16.
Where you're 16? Okay, yeah.
Okay, so 17th Forest.
So they're gonna do the same thing for a third year in a row. Sick.
It's.
And
I
then,
mean,
what did you guys have
I
16th? I had Bournemouth.
16th. 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 16th I had
Ooh,
not.
you guys want
You
to know where I
guys
have
rate
Bournemouth?
Bournemouth?
You
Oh,
guys want to
go
know where I have Bournemouth?
If
I have them
where
10th.
did,
Oh.
wow,
Oh
I
that's
God.
got
not what I
Bournemouth
was
Where did
10th.
expecting.
you
Bournemouth 10th.
Uh,
what did you put
10th is
17?
crazy. I had
Bournemouth
I had
10th.
Brentford at 17. I could see a world where if Brentford
Okay.
keeps
Wolves,
Tony, they're like a
Wolves is 14.
15th. Wolves, I honestly
That's
think
what,
Yeah,
that
yeah, I
Wolves
see
could
them
be
I'm
the
around
cool with
next
that.
team
15.
up there because they also lost. Didn't they lose
Yeah,
Killsman, the
Brentford
center
and
back?
Wolves back to back. They did lose Kilman. Kilman, he's at
Kilman.
West Ham. West
Killman,
Yeah.
Ham.
thank you.
Yeah, West
Yeah,
Ham
and
had a
that's
pretty
a big
crazy
loss.
summer.
He was their captain,
Yeah,
wasn't he? So that's a big loss. That's two major holes that they didn't even
yeah,
remotely close to fill. So I think from
yeah.
there, what we have,
Wolves are an
we all
interesting
have
one, but yeah, I
Fulham.
still don't see them going down. No, I got
I gotta
why don't
put
we put
Everton.
who we not? I swear, like there's a team we can just throw
Yeah.
right there.
I had Everton at 15.
I have them at 13.
I have Everton
Where
at
you have them,
11th.
Dill?
I didn't account for the
Oh,
point
what?
Does
deduction.
does the point deduction?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm fine with that too. I mean because interesting.
I could
Hmm.
see that happening where they
Brentford.
get
Just put Brentford 15th. I have them
I'm fine with
17th.
that.
You've got them 16th. Brentford, we can go there. Okay, that works. 15th now.
Everton in
No,
this spot
14th.
works for me because of the
I
point
have.
deduction.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. I like that you
And
have them 11th,
then
Dylan. I do
and
like that.
then Fulham.
Uh, less. I got them 12th. I got them 12th.
I got them higher than that.
Oh, where do you got Fulham?
We'll find out.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so then I
Okay.
guess
So we
Bournemouth
can't
is our
do
next one,
Fulham.
huh?
I have Fulham 12th. Yeah, I'll concede that
Yeah, I
because
think okay.
this was written before Solanke left.
This is
But
true.
I, we'll get to Bournemouth.
They're
We'll
still a
get to
good
I
team,
Bournemouth.
get
and
We'll
they
get
have
to
a great
Bournemouth. All right, so
manager.
we're doing
So
what's the next section? I like Areola a
mid
lot. That's kind of my thing on with them. But where are we
higher
going?
mid table. So
higher mid tables, 8 to 12.
8 to
this is
12. Okay.
probably the
I
Start
most
think
from
we could go
12 and go
backwards.
down.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
backwards.
difficult portion, I think,
Yeah.
to kind
This
of
is
put teams in because they're all so close to each
so
other. I
like.
don't know if there's much separation.
Mhm. Yeah.
I
So
can
like
go
I
first
see.
for this
I
one
love
if
that.
you
Love that.
want.
Please
I'll
do.
just be quick with it. But when I made this, I had Palace at 12
Oh,
because the report going around was that Gahey was gone.
right.
So I just thought that a Palace team minus Gahey and Elise is going to struggle a lot.
Fulham's in on Anderson too, and
There's
Gagey
Mhm.
that.
also still might get him.
There's
So yeah, they
also
might.
some reports that City are looking at Ward, so I have them in 12th. I have Brighton in 11th, just because I think some of their players, like Matoma and some of the other guys, can continue what they got going. Hopefully, Ferguson does what he looks like he was going to be able to do, but
Yeah.
last season wasn't very telling of that.
Don't worry, we got Danny Welbeck.
I have Fulham in 10th, and I think the Smith Rowe pickup was really good. And I'm forgetting something. Who are they talking about picking up, or who they just pick up
Anderson
all the time?
from Palace. They're talking about that right now.
And
Center back.
McTominay,
They're linked with someone else. That's why I put them up higher.
Oh,
Scott.
yeah. Well,
That
was
neither
that
of those were
noteworthy?
the links. There was a bigger link that I don't remember.
Fulham.
Yes.
While you find that, who did you have
Maybe I'm
at
tripping. At 9 I
9?
had Spurs.
Love that.
And at
9?
8 I had West Ham.
Oh
And
my!
I'm gonna let you guys go into yours, and then we could talk about that
Spurs
afterwards.
at 9. I'm a fan. I
Yeah,
didn't. I should have done that. Anyways, I got Fulham at 12. I do like Smith Rowe a lot. I think Anderson's a pretty good defender. He's a little older than 28. Like he can play. He's a Premier League defender. I like what Fulham are doing. 11th, I have West Ham. Um, a lot of people are very excited with them, and I do think they've made good signings. I really like a lot of their players. I think Kudus, Bowen, Paqueta, Fulkrug up top. They still have Mikel Antonio. Always, he'll always end up in the team. They have so many options. I just think Lopetegui is either super hit or super miss. And this team has had an identity for so long. And now it's just going to be a complete 180. Like, I don't see it just happening right away. So I'm holding out on West Ham. I'm definitely low on them compared to some other people for sure, but I just don't see it being perfect and just working. So I got them at 11. Um, Bournemouth, I have at 10. We talked about it a little bit. I know Solanke's a huge loss. But even before last year, we weren't talking about him the way we're talking about him now. And again, he was a young player. He's coming into himself great. I think that money is very good money for him. I know Liverpool had a little bit of a sell on clause, but I really like Areola, and I think they'll be able to invest that well. I definitely don't think they're a relegation threat, and then they'll be able to build off this for sure. And then ninth, I have Palace. I think Glasner just completely turned that team around, even though I just said with West Ham, you can't turn a team around. Glasner just took it from Roy Hodgson and just revolutionized them almost. They went from like an easy team to play to they were running through everybody. So I like Kamada. I know they added him. Eze's still there for now. Wharton, I don't think he leaves yet. Probably next summer it's going to be really hard to hang on to him, but they still have him. Um, Gahey, I think he ends up going to Newcastle, but I like Palace there. And then eighth, I have Villa. So we'll get to them in a bit, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm assuming there's
But
going to be some discourse about
yeah,
that pick. You both went with something just
yeah,
completely strange. Spurs at 9 and Villa at 8. I can't
yeah.
say I
I
agree
mean,
with
it's the
either of those
easy reasons
picks.
to argue. It's the easy reasons to argue. Oh, it's going to be a bunch of games. They were in the Conference League last year, but they were completely rotating that side, as I believe.
I
Um,
think everyone sleeps on their depth though, when
oh,
it
for
comes
sure,
down
they made
to
some
it.
great signings, but I don't know. I just see it being an overwhelming year of sorts. And again, it's just a feeling, right? Like if they end up way higher, wouldn't shock me either. But I just got this gut feeling like it's just going to be a hectic year.
I don't disagree
What
with
you think,
that.
Dylan?
So I
Oh yeah.
kind of speed run it because some of my list is currently lower. But so 12th, I got Palace,
Okay.
along with what Mila was saying. I think they have too many outgoings that are too important to what they do. I just see a slip inevitably incoming. 11, I had Everton, just because before the point deduction, like if you'd taken that away, they would have finished 12th. I know Onana's kind of a big, like, kind of missed spot. I just don't think he was all that important to what they did. Thought Sean Dyche really did a really good job
Yes,
when he came
thank
in.
you. Yeah.
So they just feel like a mid-table team to me. 10th, I've got Brighton. I don't have any notes on them. They're just Brighton to me. Um, every year I think the same thing with Brighton. I'm like,
Maybe
they're
half the
good for
table.
a stretch. They're bad for a stretch. Mid-table. They also lost Pascal Gross, which I think is an integral part of their team. They've lost 2 out of their 3 main midfielders over the
Yeah.
last 2
Yeah.
seasons. That's not talked about enough. And then ninth, I've got West Ham.
Gilmore's leaving too. Gilmore's leaving.
So you've got 3 major pieces missing, and and then ninth, I've got
Yeah.
West Ham.
West
I
Ham,
love
man.
the additions they've made. I just think that new coach, it's going to take a little bit to implement a system. I thought they, weirdly enough, he wants the ball, and they picked up Wan-Bissaka, who doesn't like the ball. So I think it'll work, and he's a great piece to fit. I just feel like ninth is safe. And then eighth, I've got Newcastle. They were underwhelming last year. Didn't really make any signings this year. They get Tonali back, which is great. Gambling sheet, but
Yeah.
nothing special to me about Newcastle to keep them going. So I
Ugh.
think
I don't know. To be fair to Newcastle, I was. Oh, sorry. Go for it.
no, you're good. I was in agreement where it just didn't matter to me. Go for it.
Yeah, they had a ton of injuries last year. Like we got hit with injuries pretty bad. They also got crushed. Like they were playing some. I saw Matt Ritchie playing. I was like, "What's happening?" Like I thought they were in the Champions League. I thought they had money. Like they got crushed by injuries. I think Gordon was very good. Didn't see that coming, but yeah, I'm not mad at that. But what are we thinking on this list? Who are we gonna throw 12?
I think
I
we throw
Me and
Palace
Mila both
12.
had
Just
Palace,
Dylan and
so
I agreed on that one.
Okay, that's fine. I'll give you that.
feel like
11.
Fulham. Did
Yeah, I got
we?
him 12. That works.
Fulham feels like a safe one
I had
there.
him 10.
Yeah,
It's a
so
good.
Wait,
It's a
what
good
did you all
mid-table
have
team.
Brighton?
Oh, Brighton. Yeah,
I had
Brighton
Brighton
and
Where did you
10th,
all
so
have
Chelsea.
Brighton?
those two are interchangeable to
Okay.
me. You can put them
I had
wherever.
him 15th. I had him 15th. Yeah, get him down.
Okay.
Okay,
Put him 11th.
let's do
Put
Brighton.
Brighton
Just because
11th.
Brighton has
Please.
him so low.
I hope
And then
not.
what was the one? Fulham after that?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
West Ham, and yeah, we gotta get West Ham in there.
Yeah, West Ham.
Who else? And then we gotta
Yeah.
pick a funky. We gotta pick a good team for 8. That's what I kind of like. We did this tier because 8. I kind of see 1 through 8 as like the big 8 now almost. I had Villa. Neil had Spurs 9th. That's crazy. What did you have 8th, Dylan?
I had no, sorry, I had Newcastle.
Newcastle, right?
Just
Okay.
didn't
So we
didn't
gotta
see
throw
any. I
West
don't
Ham.
think they did
West
anything.
Ham's got to go next.
I
Yeah,
had
West
West Ham
Ham's got to
8.
go next. Yeah, West Ham's got to. We can't put West Ham above Tottenham. I can't do that. I'd love to, but yeah, West Ham doesn't belong with the rest of those teams. All right. Okay, so this is between Villa, Spurs,
You
Newcastle.
still need one more here.
Yeah, I'm fine with putting Newcastle there. I got him 6th.
Yeah, I know
To
for a
me, that's
fact me
between
and Mila have
Newcastle
Villa
and
much
Villa,
higher.
but okay.
Yeah, Villa can't go anywhere near.
Okay.
Not
So
on the
this is
group
between.
consensus.
So what?
Yeah, I think it has to be Newcastle. If you guys don't
Yeah.
want to
No. Yeah. Let's
sacrifice
put
Tottenham.
Newcastle. Yeah, I got him 6th.
Newcastle's good for me.
Okay. All right, Mila, get us going. Let's get the ball rolling.
For the 7th space,
Yeah. What we got?
Newcastle.
All right. So let's talk about 7.
And I feel like with these, it's just gonna
Right.
be free fire. Like we've all
Yep.
said what we want to say
Yep.
about these teams, and
Yep.
it's
This is the fun part.
preference. And
Okay.
I have
So-
Newcastle at 7.
I have United at 7.
Oof.
I think
Yeah.
they just signed Delict and Mazraoui today. It just got confirmed. Yoro's out for a few months. Xerxes. Which reminds me of like Gabby Jesus Light. He's talking about I don't like scoring goals. It's like, don't love hearing that. And they just they got crushed by injuries last year. It was pretty brutal. I just see it. I had to throw them. I had like Newcastle 6, which again, I'm fine with moving that around. But yeah, I threw United 7.
I understand that
Dylan, what
completely
do you got?
coming as a United fan. It makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's not an
Yeah.
unfair evaluation. I personally don't have them there, and I'll go into that a little
Okay.
deeper, but later. But in 7th,
Course,
I've got
of course.
Chelsea, and
What do you
we're
think?
just swapping places here. I think that Chelsea's just got too
You
many
got me.
too many players where you're asking a first year coach to come into a system and have to manage all those players, make it work, and it's just it
Okay.
feels like a lot of clanky parts. I just feel like it's gonna be another one of those seasons where there's a lot of really, really high highs and some really low lows, and balancing that out is going to be difficult for him. And unless Palmer has another incredible season, which he totally could, I just don't see them finishing any. I could see them balance, going from 7th or 4th. It's really that close.
I get it. I get it too, though. I get it too. Yeah, I feel like 8 through 4 are kind of toss ups, to be honest. Like, I think we should just throw Spurs here. 7. I got him 5th. You got 9th. Get him gone. Get him out of
I've
here.
got Spurs
unless
4th,
you have
so.
some big argument against them.
Oh,
I had a feeling you'd have them in the top 4.
Interesting.
So
I think that they got better.
Do we want to get
Another
down
year
into
of
these?
I don't have a problem with putting them 7. Let's just stick them there.
I'm not convinced with him in the first
Yeah.
place. That's mainly why I have him so low.
I almost feel like he got not figured out all fully, but like within 10 games, it was like, oh, he's just going to do the same thing every single time. He started adjusting towards the end of the year, like Van de Ven at left back, but like, I don't know. I think they're incredibly one-dimensional, and it's dangerous, like kind of where Mila's thinking.
But they went into it was my idea because they got Solanke. That's the other thing is they are Spurs, but they finished 5th.
Yeah.
They got better as like an
I did
overall
do this-
team. I just don't know if they're figured out.
Sure,
7th is a good spot for me. Let's
so you
stick
say
them
you're
there.
fine with them 7th for the sake of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. And then, so like to
Just
me,
6
like
and 5.
this is we got to throw Villa here now, right? Where do you guys have them? Because I have them 8th, but again, I see the upside. Like I see the vision, but I don't know who
Um,
else we can throw at 6 other than
I've
a
got
certain team, but I
Liverpool
don't have that.
there. I've got
you have
Liverpool at
Liverpool at
6.
6. I also have Liverpool at 6.
All right. Well, please
So
explain.
that
But looks
yeah,
like we're throwing them 6 on the list. Yeah.
I
Feel
think
free.
Dylan and
Go
I
for
will
it.
say the same thing, so we could
Yeah.
just both
Let's hear it.
crack at
Spark
it.
notes.
But Dylan, you could start.
they have a new manager. When was the last time a tenured manager like Klopp has left a club and they've done well?
It's not
It's
just, yeah, like
just
you're saying, it's not
it's not
just a big
normal.
manager. It's
Yeah.
like a new
No.
manager. It's a
Yeah.
big manager leave. It's a lot. Like they
And
choose to
yeah.
fill. There's someone that hasn't coached in the Prem before,
And
so
another 6 rejected them. They just cannot sign a 6.
yeah, it's not
They
looking good.
Yeah. All right.
aging
I'm fine. That
squad.
makes sense. Yeah. I just feel
Yeah,
I don't know why I put them at 3rd, to be honest. They are 8. Yeah.
because
It's an interesting
I
year. And I
mean,
saw
I
Van
could
Dijk
see it
wasn't
more
offered a
if they
contract.
get the guy to go next to McAllister,
Yeah.
or if they can get some like security in their locker room. But these guys aren't extending. They're not picking
Yeah.
up new signings. Like I don't
Trent's got
see
1
it.
year left. Van Dijk's got a year left. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
a lot of
Interesting.
those
All right.
guys
Yeah.
could
Let's
be
go with
leaving
6.
midseason. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I mean,
Boom.
I was thinking about that. Like, yeah, it's the new manager, but I almost just kind of always assume, like, they'll figure it out. Like, they got enough talent in that team, like, in
Well, the
terms of
thing
game
is,
changers.
a
You know what I
lot
mean?
of
Like, they
people
got
have a
game
new
changers,
manager
but
this year, though.
yeah.
So many teams have new managers, so it's kind of just like a
Yeah. It's a bit of a toss up.
which
All right.
one you think will adjust quicker
Okay.
type of
So
thing.
now we're at 5th. I
hmm
mean,
Yep.
bro, are we really putting Villa over Chelsea, bro? I mean,
I've got
I
Villa
get
in
it
fifth.
because
Yes.
they finished in 4th and we were in 6th. 5th. Okay.
I
You have them in
have
5th.
Chelsea in 5th.
I have Chelsea in 4th.
Where's
But
Chelsea for Dylan? Oh,
we
you
put
had
them
him in
7th.
I had him
7th.
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 Okay,
4,
so
5,
this
7th.
has to be Chelsea.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
unfortunately.
have Villa at 8th. Wait a minute. Wait
You're the
a minute.
fan. Argue. Why not?
Yeah. Okay. So I get again. I'll take 5th to be honest, because like we were horrific all of last year up until 5 games, and we still got 6. I think up until that 5 game winning streak at the end, we were awful. There was no structure. It was just it was the worst. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. For me, the signings that Clear Lake have been making ever since Tuchel was gone, that's when they were like, okay, no more like Koulibaly, Sterling, whatever. We are getting technical players that are young and have potential. The ones that make the team, like a Palmer getting an extension. They want to extend Jackson. Guys who don't make it, they sell for hopefully a profit. More than likely, if they play well, like a Madueke getting linked to Newcastle, 45 million, that's a profit. So I'm starting to see the vision there. And again, it's a mess for sure. But we have such technical players. Like we signed Enzo way back in January. Like feels like forever ago. He's one of the longest tenured players, but that's a technically gifted player. And you get a coach like Poch. Doesn't make any sense. Now you have a coach who likes those technical players and will play them instead of guys like Gallagher, who has completely different qualities, but just wouldn't fit in this type of system. So it's going to take time. Preseason was very tough to watch. Just so many mistakes, but I think I'm starting to see stuff just based off watching it. You see the signs where, okay, they're understanding. They're starting to get an understanding for each other. I just think there's too much talent. At a certain point, the talent has to come in. Like Palmer, again, brilliant. And Kunku out the whole year. He looks great. Lavia looks unbelievable. Played 20 minutes last year. So that's why I'm optimistic. I still put him 4th because I know how this team's going to act. Sometimes it's going to be a tough watch. But
No
that's my argument.
striker.
Respect Nicholas Jackson. 14 goals in the league, 17 in all comps. Nico can play, bro. He's a very good player. He just can't finish. That's the problem. Everything
Oh,
else is very good. Decision making and finishing, room to improve.
it's tough. I mean, they're
I'll
look
die
like
on
you
that
said, the
hill.
talent is
I'll die
there.
on that hill.
The talent is absolutely there for them
Yeah.
to be a good team. It's just how
Yeah.
quickly can they put it together? I don't know.
Yep.
That's my
100%.
issue. Is like when we get into December, are they going to be gelled enough to make it through those tough 3 games in 1 week type of deal? I just don't. It's more of a seeing
No,
is believing thing, and that's why I had them in 7th. But
for
I
sure.
said, I could totally see them finishing 3rd. Like it's just
Okay.
how much are you going to rely on the young talent to get you
Yeah,
there?
it could go any way.
The
It could go either way. Sure.
yeah?
It could go any way. And like, whoa, United's still on the board. Wait a minute, they finished 8th.
I have them third.
No new manager.
So 5th. Okay, again, fair. I get it. You got
With
it.
Chelsea,
I
you have the talent, but in terms of like your defense, especially, I think.
Oh yeah,
It's like
it was
2
horrific
injuries.
in the preseason. I'm not even worried about the injuries. They looked awful. They just looked very
exactly,
disorganized.
though. You that's
They just
with
didn't look
some of
organized.
the best. Like, I don't know.
The Colwell
If
nonchalant
2 injuries,
Yeah,
and
no, we'll see.
we're back to
Sure.
square one already for Chelsea, I think.
Yeah, no, I get it. The defense has been very shaky to me, but we were awful defensively last year. We'll see, but it's gonna be a fun one.
So do we stick? Do we stick Chelsea
So are you
5th?
fine?
And I
We did
have
United
Villa.
I feel like
in
Chelsea and
5th,
United
I have
are in
United
very
higher.
similar situation. Okay, because Mila, where do you got Villa?
I have Villa in third. I think another year of Emery, another year of Ollie Watkins. They added Onana to replace Douglas Luiz. They picked up Matson for left back. That means Digne, as of right now, is their backup left back, or Matson's the backup left back. It's the depth there. People want to talk about Champions League with them, but they have depth. They have people like Morgan Rogers, who might not even be a starter this year. So it's I think they're going to surprise a lot of people, and Emery's going to flip the bird to a lot of people.
As long as it's Arsenal fans, so I'm fine with that. But
I feel like
Alright.
Villa in
I
5th
got
for
Villa
ours
8th,
makes
so I think-
sense
yeah,
because Mila has him
'cause I
third.
got him
I've got him
8th.
5th. You got him 8th. 5 is in the middle of you both.
Spread out.
Let's go with that.
Hold.
Wow. That means that we have 2
United
teams
has
that
to be-
finished
United has to go
outside.
4th, right? Oh, Chelsea.
Okay, wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This makes it
No,
easier.
that's an all
Let's
agree.
be real,
That's
guys,
a
we don't need to have this conversation.
they've
Arsenal in
won it
second,
4 straight
City are
times
first.
until
They
they
don't have-
don't win
yeah.
it. Yeah, until they don't win it, I'm not
Yep.
putting anybody
I'm
else
not
there.
gonna.
I'm not expecting anything else. Yeah.
So throw Arsenal second. I feel like we all
And
kind of
honestly, Arsenal could compete, but until they get that,
Marino.
I think they need someone. I don't even see it with Marino, so I think
Yeah,
they need
and I don't know.
someone to play next to Rice
Yeah.
and Odegaard, and like underneath Odegaard with him. But I don't know who
Not
they get
Havertz?
right now.
What about Havertz?
No,
I've been saying it for 2
Not to
years. They
mention
need someone who
don't
can
have
score
a striker
goals.
Still,
Like if you think
Mhm.
that Saka and Martinelli and the Jesus fit is going to just work and it'll get them places when they need to get a gritty like 3-2 win where you get that late winner with a striker just pounding one in with his head, like they don't have that. They don't have that X factor to me. It's not Havertz, I'll tell you that much.
Yep.
It's not
But their
Jesus.
signings too just don't make sense. Like they got Calafiori
Yeah.
for
it's-
what they had the best defense last year. They added
Right.
depth.
Yeah.
Like
And Timber's coming back. They
congratulations.
didn't
How
even
does
have
that
Timber.
improve? Like you
Yeah.
need the best defense again, but that wasn't the issue last year. Like you guys
Yeah.
already
Right.
took care of business in that regard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're still the second
Arsenal
best
second,
team.
And then
Yeah.
Oh, of course. After all that talk, they're still.
yeah,
They're still the
Chelsea
second best team.
United toss up. I think 3 through 7. I think 3 through 8's a whole toss up. So how about we give Mila this decision? Can I don't think-
give Mila some
We have
more arguments?
advice when he's making this decision on why it should
for
be
sure.
United? Because I
wanted to
have
see
them
him
in
let it
third.
fly. Sure.
I have him in third, but I want to see if
Sure.
I can sway his decision.
Sure. That's fair. That's very
United with Ten Hag in his
Well, I
first
have him
season
in fourth.
finished third, right?
Wait, hold on. Listen. You don't have to convince me though. I have them in fourth, and I have Chelsea in fifth. So
Oh.
it just makes sense.
Let
to
him
put
talk about his
United
club.
above Chelsea.
Let him talk about his club, damn it.
To beat
Okay, yeah,
a dead
of
horse,
course.
listen to the
Didn't
United
even
fan
convince
here.
me.
So, finished third with Ten
Mhm.
Hag in his first season. Last season was poor, and I'm gonna mark it up to 60% injuries. We didn't have it. Johnny Evans started like the majority of the season. That's the answer.
Maybe Field. That's my point though. He started the Community Shield game.
Right, but they just brought in De Ligt.
No,
Martinez, you're
he's
hoping is
he's
healthy,
yeah,
and
true.
then
It's valid.
your
Yeah,
rotation at
yeah,
center back
sure. We're
should
hoping.
be Delict, Martinez, Euro, and Maguire, and that's good enough to win you a certain number of games to
Yeah,
get them third, I think. And then Mazraoui's bringing in. I
good.
think they bring in a six. I think that Ugarte is the player that comes in here, and I think it's for either a Sancho type swap or they bring him in with whatever fun money they're bringing in currently. But I think that they brought in the pieces that were missing.
Yeah,
Because when Hoyland got hurt, they were having to force either Rashford up there or Bruno up there, and now they have Xerxes, someone who can play in that position and fill that gap. The depth is much deeper, and it's honestly the team is better than it was 2 years ago when they finished third, and that's why I think they'll finish there.
okay. Yeah, I mean, I do chalk a lot of your season up to injuries. I still can't fathom that we finished above you. Like we were not good, and we were also very injured. So that's where my argument comes in, and you know what I mean, that we would go above you. But again, it is such a crapshoot because like it's not like we have players who they just got injured once. Like we've got some injury prone guys on our team, so
It's true.
it's tough. But yeah, Mila, you said you got him third and Chelsea fourth.
Just because, for like the consensus table, yeah, I
Sure,
think that's how
sure,
we
and
have
you
to
had him
go
above.
with it.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I'll let it fly. I will take fourth. I think the expectation should be fourth and win the conference league. A trophy. We should win a trophy and finish fourth, but we'll see. Player of the year, young player of the year. Um, I think
Go
it's
young
gonna
first.
young first. Okay, I got
Yeah,
Ahmad.
everyone do young.
I'm a big Ahmad guy. I've liked Ahmad for a while. I could not believe I was watching Anthony play knowing he existed. And I think ever since he's gotten tick, he's looked good. So I think if he consistently gets his minutes, and I think he absolutely starts the first game of the year, I think he can easily win this award, especially if United do well in the table.
Yeah, I think
Dylan,
that
you want to
he's
go?
gonna start. He's gonna start games, right? And he's got the right back position to essentially make his own. Um, I have another United guy as my young player. I think it's Manu. I think he was electric last year, and he came in about December, January is really where he started to make his mark. I think he's going to start every Premier League game so long as he's healthy, and I think that his quality shows through. And when you get respect from every team, and you want to be, all of their fan bases are, wanting him to start Euros. I think he's just that talented to where voters will get voter fatigue on probably like a Palmer or someone else, and they'll just end up giving it to Manu because he's like the next guy up. All right, Mila, I want to hear
Going
your
off that,
thoughts.
my answer, I think, I think my answer goes off yours pretty much. In the fact that this is one of the next guys up. He balled his ass off during preseason, and I know it's preseason, but when I'm watching, when everyone's watching, other opposing fans are watching, and they're like, "Oh my God, this guy he's doing something right now." With the Community Shield, like Oscar Bob is gonna be my youth player of the year, and I think it should be pretty convincing outside of someone like me, like you were saying.
I like that shot. Yeah, he's good. We he can play. He scored against us in preseason. He can absolutely play. I would not be surprised. I would only worry about the game time in terms of if he's going to win the award. But in terms of the player, absolutely worthy of that. He's very good.
Yeah, no disagreements here. We text about him
Yeah.
probably daily in our group
We
chat. So like
Yeah,
big
King
Oscar
Bob.
Bob fans. I think I'm the same way. Where it's in terms of him winning the award, it's just like, is he going to play enough, and is Pep going to give him a long enough leash? Which it seems like he's
yeah.
going to give the young players because they didn't bring anyone else in. So
It's him and Savio on that side. So
right,
he's gonna get that
it's his
And
chance.
spot to win.
Savio's gonna have that 1 year to adapt.
Right, exactly.
Bob's been
Yeah.
there. He's been around the team for a
Yep.
while now. Like he knows the system. He knows Pep. So I think he's got a good chance of playing a lot
Wild card, I'm just gonna
getting
say
into
Nicholas
the
Jackson's name again just in case he wins it. Watch out for
young player
Nico.
of the year.
He's like 21, 22.
Hmm.
Just had to get his name in there. I got Palmer for player of the year. Kind of have to. I want to speak that into existence, but like he's nominated for player of the year for this past year, bro. Like he's absolutely of that quality. And again, I understand that GA is a very interesting stat. It's not the be all end all. A lot of penalties, but like it's an opportunistic stat. Like I don't think he leads the league in goal contributions again, but that quality of player is just on another level. That team had no setup last year, no setup whatsoever. The whole thing was try and get Palmer the ball and he'll figure something out. And he did. That was his first year playing senior football, and that's what he did. So, of course, I'm going to have to throw him player of the year. What do you guys got?
Go for it, Mila. I feel like you going
I
next makes
have,
sense.
yeah, I have Holland, and I feel like that is the easy pick because I
Valid.
mean he was the Golden Boot winner last year, and I watched almost every game, and he missed some crazy ones, which I don't expect from him, and I don't expect him to make all of them either. But I do think the conversion rate is going to go up a good amount next year. Hopefully, back to what we were seeing in the first year.
No.
Because I don't know if you guys remember that first year he was scoring ridiculous goals.
I know.
There was highlights
He
every
didn't score
other
any
week.
against us.
So when it comes down to it, I think he's going to have a load of goals again. And
Took a penalty.
that game one should be a good indication. But I think Bob on Cucurella might be
Respect
2 to 3 Holland goals.
Respect Cucurella. Respect Cucurella. No, yeah, that's valid.
Yeah,
what do you got, Dylan?
that was definitely the one that makes the most sense. As you can see, there's a trend: Chelsea, City, United. So I'm gonna go with Bruno. I think for United to be any good this season, Bruno's got to be Bruno. Let's be honest. In terms of creative midfielders, and I don't care what anyone says, Bruno Fernandes is the second best creative midfielder in the league, and I don't think it's close. If you look at his output every year,
it's okay.
Yeah, De Bruyne is number one. It's not. He's in a class of his own. He's probably one of the best Prem midfielders ever. But right below that, I not right below it, but below it is Bruno. I think that he's been United's best player for the last 3 seasons. He shows it every game that he cares. He's essentially the engine in the midfield, even as their quote unquote 10. He kind of does it all. I think his GA output is going to be what it's been for the last 2 years, which is 20 plus, which is ridiculous to be doing that in the Prem year in, year out. And I think that the talent around him has gotten better. So I think that that's just something that's going to show really, really well this season. And that offsides goal that he scored in the Community Shield is what I'm expecting. Maybe not weekly, but every couple of games where he just pulls something out of his his hat that's that nasty. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I like Bruno as a player. I think he gets a lot of criticism for being wasteful. It's kind of the point of your position now. Like he's a 10 and a team that was struggling to create chances. Of course, he should try and create chances and move the needle. He's quality. Like it works. Like he's a good player. Player of the year is crazy, but again, it's your team and the guy's quality. So if you guys finish high up in the table and he gets a good GA output, it can happen for sure.
That's the thing, isn't it? Like with the player of the year, all it takes is for like any of these teams that we're predicting to be 5 to 8.
Yeah.
One of these guys has a phenomenal season, and just like that, they're in a top 4 discussion, and that makes them the player of the season. In my eyes.
Palmer PR is clear, so good luck, boys. All right. So
are we moving on to transfers?
That's a bit of a crapshoot. We could chat a little bit about some transfers. Anything in mind? I know you guys made some moves, Dylan. Confirmed today.
We kind of touched on it in the
already.
I touched on it a little bit. I think that they've done great work. Ineos has had a good first summer. I think that it's still important for them to get rid of some deadwood. I don't think there needs to be a Scott McTominay or a Jadon Sancho on this team anymore. It'll be up to Ineos to in the last 2 weeks here to get a 6 as well. Obviously, Casemiro's not leaving, so if they can get in, a Fofana or a Ugarte to kind of just shore up the midfield and play next to Mainu and unlock his true potential, I think that United can really make a run this season. But so far, so good. Obviously, you as a Chelsea fan have seen 58 players come in and 58 players go out, so you can touch on Chelsea's transfer.
We've signed 12, okay? We've only signed 12. Thank you very much. We've only signed 12. No, this
35.
window we've signed 12. Um, I'm the Gallagher Joao Felix thing. Like I wasn't even shocked when that started happening. I was like, oh yeah, what a surprise! And I was texting you guys like if the Samu deal's off. I was like, imagine. Like I'm not shocked. Like of course something's happening. Um, love to get Gallagher. I'd love to get that pure profit and just keep spending on more random 20-year-olds and kids from Brazil. I like the Neto signing a lot. I'm still the leader of Midrikov. I think he'll come good one day, whether it's in our shirt or not. But the opportunity's never really been there for him to get consistent game time until towards the end of the season when we played very well. Um, I think he's quality, but at a certain point, you need some guarantees. Sterling's not that anymore. So Neto, when he's fit, I think that's a very simple, straightforward. Of course, he's going to be good in that system. Um, but again, he's played what, like 20 games or less every year. So hard to say. But given that we have like 8 people we can play out wide, great. It's another good player in there. Hopefully, it helps us release our highest wage earner, Sterling. And one more transfer rumor. I'd love to sell a left back to United. I've heard they need one. So if we can get
You
him
need
off the
one.
books too. No, we don't. We signed Vega. We signed Calafiore's replacement for 12 million. We're doing good business. Once it booms, the project will boom. But
How about we
I'm
actually talk
excited,
about
man. I like that.
bona
I don't
fide good
want.
business though? City in their good business on getting rid of Alvarez to start
Huh?
with. I mean, not necessarily get rid of him, but that was a good piece of business. If you want to touch on that, Mila.
Oh,
That profit is. Oh, they got him for like 14,
boom.
15 mil.
Hold on. Hella bread
Mm-hmm.
into the
Yeah,
funds. It's our biggest ever transfer, which is crazy.
yeah.
That is a
And
crazy.
I don't really have much to say about it. I think we've been doing business with Atletico for a while now. Some big signings, a Rodri, Aguero, Julian Alvarez to them seems like a little bit of returning the favor. But if you look at that price tag, I don't think we did any favors. It seems like they did the favor to us. So
Yeah,
that's
that
really
was
all I have to say about it.
crazy fee. Why didn't that deal collapse, but Gallagher did? That's what I want
They
to know.
want more, I'm guessing.
Well, Sim Gallagher is going to be good at Letty if he
No,
goes, but I wouldn't.
actually, though, yeah,
Yeah.
I think they both fit the system really well. The Gallagher thing probably is because they're mad at
It's a
Chelsea.
bad look. It's a really bad look because
Yeah,
teams probably wouldn't want to work with us after something like that. And when it comes to the Joao Felix thing, he's a hooper, right? Like he's nice on the eye, right? Joao Felix is nice to watch. It so doesn't make sense. We have
it
so many players
doesn't
to play
like he's
there.
been around your team before, so I
Yeah, it
get
was a
that.
completely different team, bro. Kovacic was there. You know what I
Ah,
mean? Like
like a
Koulibaly,
lot of
like
the players were still there, but like
a lot of new guys
I get,
too.
yeah, of course,
I don't
but
want to pay. I don't want to pay what 60, 65 I was seeing. That I'd rather have had Samu for 35. I think because
but
at least okay, we wanted a striker. That kind of makes sense. It's a different profile from Jackson, an aerial threat. Like that kind of made sense. Felix was just absurd. If Gallagher's not going the other way, don't I wouldn't entertain Felix. But I digress.
Yeah,
I'm
I
good with
mean,
not
we
doing any
could.
moves the rest of this year either. I don't want Osimhen. I don't want Osimhen. I want to make that clear too. The wages he wants, he's not. Apparently, he's not willing to go down like 11, 12 mil a year. Don't do that. I don't think he's worth breaking your wage structure over. Jackson scored more goals than him last year, so I don't think he's that caliber where it's like we should break our wage structure for him. I don't think that's a smart move. So I'm cool with where we're at in the transfer window. I'm just excited to get peppered by City this weekend. That's what I'm looking
Hell
forward
yeah.
to.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be an exciting weekend. That's for sure. Every first weekend of the Prem is always great. There's always good excitement. You just gotta hope your team doesn't lose. Fingers crossed.
Yeah,
So,
I got bad news.
but
Yeah. I won't be at my
yeah,
house, so at least I won't break anything. I won't be. Yeah, I'll be great.
Grant is
smart.
avoiding me this weekend.
That's
We were
exactly what
supposed to watch the game together.
happened.
I was gonna go to
Look, man.
Vegas, and
Look,
he's
man.
bailing on me,
I
so he's running
had a,
away. Let it be known.
I had a prior commitment.
Oh,
I had
crap.
a prior commitment.
It's a smart
Yeah.
business decision.
Anything else? Final thoughts, boys?
No, I think
Yeah,
that was
it is. It is.
a good first episode. Obviously,
Productive.
happy we got to do this. Clearly went longer than we expected, but that's okay because talking footy is what we do every day. So,
Of course we
uh,
did. Exactly. Get
but
ready for more.
if for some reason you stayed till the end of the video, thank you for listening to us ramble on for close to an hour. But we appreciate it, and we'll be back sometime soon to record episode 2 of Clash of Clubs. Thanks.